there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
I'm moving too far. Get to glass. You're looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Said I might be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be in town on a Monday night if you are a Spurs fan. If you're not a Spurs fan, you are welcome here as well. We don't have the full panel tonight because, unfortunately, some people have got to watch Italy play. Some people have got work. Others have got school bits to do. Okay, it is what it is. But you do have the amazing Mari, the amazing JP, and the amazing Stelios. Let's say hello to everyone. JP, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm just bored, senseless without football. And do you know what? It's a good thing we have a break, and it helps recharge some of those players' batteries and stuff like that. But man, it's dull without football. It's dull without Spurs playing. Be it good week, be it bad week, whatever. But I miss them.
Yeah, it was so used because we're on a football channel on Tottenham. When Tottenham don't play, we struggle. That's what we do, right? Mari from Florida, how are you doing? How's everyone over there in the USA?
Doing good. We're doing good. Thinking about Iggy right now because it's 0-0. I don't know if they advance for a draw or they need to get a victory.
No, I think a draw is enough.
A draw is enough? Okay. Because right now it's 0-0 and they're tied in points. And I know he has been talking about that game. And then I'm feeling good because we're going to be talking about the next subject. Some scum club down the road is in trouble. Chelsea.
Big bad words. Big bad words.
Chelsea is in trouble.
Well, for sure, something's cooking, something's brewing. Let's say hello to everyone in the chat. We've got, as always, the Disabled Team channel member. Big up to Disabled Team. Thank you, as always.
Big up, man. You have to let us know about Rafinha, and like what you think of him, because he's a Leeds fan as well.
Oh,
yeah, definitely let us know, because we are going to be talking about Rafinha during the show. Big up to Adrian in the house. He was on Alan's show earlier on as well when I was with Alan. Big up to JJ Dunzeldork. How are you doing? We've got Richo, the Everton fan, who has been on the back end of a points deduction, which we will be talking about first thing this evening. Jason in the house. We've got Dean in the house. 3SS in the house. Ellie, how you doing?
Woohoo!
We've got Graham.
Big up, Graham.
Bertie Hotspur. Sammy and the boys. JJ in the building. We've got Edward Talks. Oi, oi. Nita. Ian.
Nita.
Sheree. This name always gets me every single week. SVAROGBG. That's what I'm going to call you. How you doing? The man who's back since the demise of Spurs. He's shown his face.
Scott.
If we beat Villa, will Scott go missing for another couple of weeks? Is that how it works? Big up to Chris Horry. How you doing? We've got Mark in the building. Dunzeldorp joins us. The Gooner that is DJ Marcus Anthony.
DJ.
Bryce. G'day, Bryce. How you doing, my man?
Bryce.
Big up, big up.
Alex Apostolou. Big up to all of you in the chat. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. So, as Mari briefly mentioned, she's there. Our favorite ever.
Hey.
Wagwan.
Donna's in town.
Big up, Donna Cullen. Respect.
Respect.
Jammy gear. Big up, gentlemen, at ease. Yeah, so look, for anyone that doesn't know, I'd be surprised if you don't, if you follow football, but breaking news this week was that Everton got handed a 10-point penalty after an independent commission hearing on alleged breach of Premier League profit and sustainability rules. So basically around the financial rules, punishment applied immediately. So they've been deducted 10 points. They go straight into the relegation zone. They are expected to appeal. Now, this was massive news because obviously, as everyone knows, there's the ongoing saga with Man City and with Chelsea. All fans up and down the country want to see them punished minimum equally. But the difference here is Everton have been proven guilty. Man City and Chelsea, we're waiting for the verdict. Now, off the back of that, probably the tweet of the week from Domino's Pizza.
Yeah.
Just had Everton come in and collect Man City's order. I mean, if you want to speak the language of fans, that is the tweet to put out.
That's banging,
and then
isn't it?
that's a fantastic tweet. And then some Spurs fans couldn't wait. They couldn't just wait, could they? Time to praise Daniel Levy. Everyone panic in the league. Top teams will get relegated for their actions. There's only one team completely calm in this situation, and it's Tottenham Hotspur, the cleanest club in the league. And then followed up this tweet, which I will not mention the name because I'm not here to name and shame. But he said, context for Daniel Levy. Chelsea lightly cheated. Man City likely cheated. Liverpool nearly went bankrupt, but rebounded and found success under a spend what you earn model. So when people are saying Enoch out for a better owner, who exactly are these better non-cheating owners, he says. It's an amazing tweet out when you think that our current owner is facing US federal charges. But there you go.
Argentina, certain business dealings over there, but
I mean, because he did say Enoch out. Enoch is owned by Joe Lewis, which is why I found it interesting. And the last
If
kind
Joe
of
Louis is the house arrest, so I mean,
why? Well, some people just don't think, I think. And then the last one was the Sky Sports Premier League put out a message saying, according to the Times newspaper, the threat of a 30-point deduction or automatic relegation from the Premier League would look to be very real for both Man City and Chelsea should charges be proven in an independent regulatory commission. Paper talk, of course, this is. So I think first things first. Before we get into City, Chelsea, and what we think of Spurs, the cleanest club in the world, do you think the Everton points deduction was harsh? Bear in mind, they could have done what they did with Chelsea a couple of years ago, transfer embargo. They could have said, right, we're going to limit what you can and can't spend for a period of time. They could have given them a big fine. This is like, for me, the harshest punishment you can give a club, to either relegate them or deduct them points. Juventus were relegated to Serie B a few years ago. Glasgow Rangers were relegated to the bottom tier of Scottish football. They were demoted 3 divisions. Everton, 10-point deduction. This is like the most extreme kind of punishment, really, for me. JP, what do you make of it?
For the first time, them putting this out as a penalty or, a fine or I mean, it's worse than a slap on the hand, really, isn't it? But for the first time, them doing it, it seems extreme, but they've laid their cards on the table, right? And my understanding is, from Everton's perspective, it was something like 20 million or something. Now, if you take that and look at what those other two have spent, you'd think that stick to beat the other two can only be a bigger, massive stick, right? But in terms of the question and against Everton, I don't know if they've wanted to just make a statement, but they've got to follow that statement up now. I think it's harsh. And it's even worse for Everton, considering where they are and where they have been in the last couple of years. And the fact that it's not as if they've really been flying or anything, right? They've literally been fighting off relegation, which then opens a bigger hole about all those other clubs that did actually get relegated and them having options to sue Everton.
Yeah, they want to sue,
right? Because it's not just 10 points. There's massive implications to this, and there'll be lawsuits going left, right, and center all over the place. And I don't know if they've opened. They've certainly opened a bigger can of worms. I mean, at the end of the day, they came out with these rules. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago or something like that? Financial fair play, and it seemed that they didn't really stick to it, or they didn't really hold everyone accountable for it. But suddenly now they're just putting their hands up and going, okay, well, you, and you. And you know what? It's going to be a severe penalty. But the ramifications for this on other teams and the impact it's going to have, I think it's going to be mega. And God knows what's going to happen once it hits those other two teams. Because if these guys got 20 million and 10 points, oof.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah. Murray, JP said...
Sorry, Man City were like 100 items, 115 items or something they found. But they failed. Jeez.
And those are the ones they found. They haven't gone into their books yet.
So, Murray, nothing's been proven yet about Chelsea or Man City, right? We're expecting it to, let's be honest. But the question I've got is, okay, they've self-admitted, but JP just said, Lord help the other two, what's going to happen to them? My question for you then is this. Do the likes of Rangers, Derby County as well, that's another club that was punished in the past, and Everton, are they getting punished because they don't have the power to not be punished? As in, Man City and Chelsea can get the best lawyers in the world. They can threaten to leave in a Super League. they potentially, if they're not in that top 6 fighting for trophies, it might damage the audience that watches the Premier League because they want to see those teams there. What's your take on this? Because I was on Alan's show earlier and I said, if you're going to punish the other clubs, then you've got to treat them all the same. Otherwise, what's the point?
Well, here's the thing. 2 things. Number one, Sheffield United and Luton and the other teams are so bad. This 10-point reduction, Everton's still going to, I think, be able to survive. I expect them to survive. Matter of fact, they're 19th. They're 2 points clear from being safe. So Everton has been a little bit better this year than last year. So I think the 10-point reduction, it's harsh, but it's not going to have them suffer as much. Second thing, I think this is a game of chess. Because you're exactly right. Man City and Chelsea has those lawyers. They pay them millions to find loopholes here and there. But I think what's the Premier League or the FA is doing is playing chess. They took Everton, right? Because it's Everton, and they're showing their first stake, like, boom, 10 games for the minor charges at Everton. Because Chelsea and Man City, it's much more, right? So I kind of disagree that you have to punish them easily, because I think Everton was the first salvo, because the charges were small and it showed, boom, 10 points off Everton to kind of give City and Chelsea that warning, like, okay, we're coming for you, because the charges that are against Chelsea, allegations against Chelsea or City, are much worse than Chelsea and Chelsea and City. Mind you, Chelsea has admitted that the previous owners have done this. So with Chelsea, there's more of a, like, right now, that they're going to get a punishment that's much harsher than 10 points because they self-admitted. And so that's why, I was just watching DR Sports. They're making fun of Matisse. You're going to be regulated. You're going to be regulated. So I think Everton was an easy chess move to avoid.
Sorry, was that you're going to be regulated or you're going to be relegated?
Sorry, Warren G. Sorry, but
regulators.
But great song, by the way. Rest in peace too. He passed away a couple years ago. But I think it's a game of chess, and so now it's going to be interesting these next couple of months. It's going to still take a while, but easily Everton was the sacrificial lamb. They were the first chess in this game, easily.
And I mean, how do you guys think that at the end of the day, Man City and Chelsea are big teams for the Premier League, right? In terms of games, revenue, TV, sponsorship, things like that. That financially also, that could impact the Premier League, right? If suddenly these teams go down to a championship or something like that.
I think that fans, the way they all stood up to stop the ESL from happening, if Man City and Chelsea are found guilty and they do not get minimum equal punishment as Everton got, then fans need to unite and demand the Premier League either be shut down, start again, proper punishment given. It was a clear black night. Yeah, Warren G. Trust the DJ to give us the lyrics, of course. Then I think the fans need to get hold of it. The same passion and energy we put into the European Super League. Because don't forget, Adrian and Murray as well both said, Chelsea have admitted to 2 transfers, so they've admitted it. They've admitted guilty and await punishment. Now, but by admitting guilt, that means, right, we hold up our hands, we've done it. Chelsea were given a transfer embargo under Frank Lampard. They couldn't buy any players for a whole year because they were caught breaching the financial rules regarding the youth football transfers and whatnot. So this isn't a first offence. This is Chelsea's second offence now of being caught cheating. So if you don't hammer them the way you've hammered Everton, then I think fans need to start. We need a revolution.
It has to
riot,
be worse.
basically.
Yeah, it has to be worse than
Well, not riot.
what Everton
That's a
got,
bit extreme,
it?
but
it has to be worse than what Everton got, big time. 100%. And Man City are like 115 allegations. 115 allegations.
Yeah.
Damn.
I just want them, in regards to Chelsea, to find out if they kidnapped Willen when he was supposed to come to White Hart Lane to do his physical. Instead, his car was sent to Chelsea. I want them to investigate that kidnapping. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Was supposedly supposed
to transfer deadline day, wasn't it?
Yeah, and a U-turn. He's going to Stamford Bridge. Wait, what?
Yeah, we paid for the transfer, basically. We paid for the the medical
paid for
test.
His flight, paid for his flight, paid for the medical, paid for everything.
Yeah, since they investigate the Eden Hazard transfer.
That's
another one. Yeah.
Yeah, but they mentioned that the Eden Hazard transfer. So that's why I threw him in Willen, because supposedly he was supposed to be down the road coming down to White Hart Lane.
Is it 1-0, is it?
Yeah, Jack Grealish just scored for England. So I think the Chelsea one, the punishment will come quicker for Chelsea. I think the Man City one, because of the size of it and the number of allegations, I think that's going to go on for years and years and years before anything comes of that. That's a huge case. And Man City, they will find the loophole. They will delay it. They will make it frustrating. Whereas Chelsea, if they've admitted it,
they've come out and admitted it. They've just got to take whatever's given to them, haven't they? Really.
If you're Everton and those two clubs aren't given equal punishment, what do you do?
You then try and take the Premier League to court, or the FA, whoever it is. You have to, right? If all these clubs, there's talk about all these clubs who did actually get relegated during that phase. Big up Tottenham. If there's talks about them trying to get compensation or sue Everton, then if the Premier League or the FA don't hand out the same level multiplied whatever breaches that they found in Chelsea and Man City, then surely they've got, well, kind of like you say, surely they've probably got a leg to stand on to be able to go and have some sort of a challenge to the FA and the Premier League. But again, it goes back to, will they be able to foot the bill to get the right lawyers to be able to tackle that argument? Is a different story, right? Because by then they could be broke. They could be out of the league.
The problem is, with the Everton one, I thought it was really harsh because the cost of the stadium went up, as what happened when we were building our stadium. The interest rates went up because the interest charges went up because the interest rates went up. And they thought that change in interest rates, they could apply as an expense, I believe, or something along those lines, so that they weren't breaking the rules. But it turns out they weren't allowed to do it, even though the cost went up. So I think Everton have been dealt quite harshly, if I'm honest with you. I think they've used Everton to make an example.
Can you put Adrian's comment? Because if that's true, then if by that standard, Chelsea and City, their punishment should be worse. I mean, is that true? In 94-95, Spurs was deducted 12.
Yeah, but
he did get the points back.
Yeah, but this is different. Number one, this was before the Premier League is what it is today. Number two, there was no oligarchs, billionaires in the game. Number three, the money in football was nowhere near its. You didn't have Chelsea, Man City's, PSG's in the game. And number 4, there was no FFP back then. FFP was post 94, 95. So the landscape's changed. You know, this is like saying, but the accountancy rules in the 1980s, forget that. Like the world's evolved, rules have changed. So,
but that's
I don't think you can. I don't think you can go that far back though. I don't think you can go that far back to make a comparison.
But that's a clear indication there though that even though they handed it out, they ended up taking cash for it to give those points back. Do you know what I mean? So yes, they gave the 12 points back to Spurs, but they fined us a larger amount, right?
Yeah. I don't want to go off in a tangent, but at that time where we had to be saved by Alan Sugar, if they had the FFP back then, would we been in serious trouble in regards of? Yeah, I would assume that we would have been in serious trouble.
Yes.
If FFP existed at that time.
Mari, do you know what it is? In the UK, right? If you get a speeding fine for driving, what they do is they give you, they put points on your license. If you accumulate a certain number of points in a period of time, you lose your license for 2 years, so you can't drive. But what they sometimes do is, what they do is they say, right, you can either take the 3 points, or you can pay $100 and go on a safety driver awareness course. Where you've got to take a day off, travel to his place, and they teach you the rules and the safety of the road, and you've got to pass a little exam on the day, and then that's your punishment instead of the 3 points. But
the 3 points.
If your speeding is that bad, you don't get the choice to buy out of it. You have to take the points hit. And I think this is kind of where we're at with this. If what you've done is so bad, like Everton have been deemed to do so, they've said, you can't buy your way out of this. You're taking them points. Whereas with Spurs, maybe our situation wasn't as bad. So therefore, look, we're going to give you the opportunity to go on the driver safety awareness course. Just pay your way out of this. What we're waiting to see is, are Chelsea and Man City going to be treated in a way where, no, you take the points hit, no buying out of it, or are they going to be offered the option to buy out of it the way Everton were? I think that's what we're looking at, right?
Well, this is the second time Chelsea got caught speeding then, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah.
Wayne has a point, and that's why those clubs want to sue Wayne. Wayne Holland, big up Wayne. The point deduction, if it would have came in last year, Leicester City stays.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because those clubs now have a valid, or kind of whether it's valid or not, I don't know, but they are going to go after some sort of compensation, aren't they?
Yeah. Though Leicester's having a great season, they'll be back next season because right now, they're up by 8 points, 7 points.
And Winksy's doing well out here.
Yeah.
Wayne's just trying to justify that Leicester had a crap season last year, but we should have stayed. No. You don't do that. You don't do that, Wayne. You went down because you were bad. I'll tell you what, if Spurs get relegated, Wayne will be like, yep, no, you were bad. You had to go down. So, yeah.
He's saying because we were crap.
And Adam is right. Leicester would have probably got more from Madison in the summer.
Yeah, in fact, do you know what? Leicester could sue the league for losing Madison at a lower price, because if they stayed up, Madison would have been 60, 70 million pounds. Mate, you could go in so many different angles with compensation and arguing points off the back of this.
It's what ifs, isn't it? There's a whole lot of what ifs in that. What if Chelsea couldn't buy those players? Where would they finish? What if other teams in the league bought those players?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly. Would those players have gone to Chelsea if they were getting relegated? Probably not.
For the record, weren't given houses and shitload of money and
cuckoo and
we get. Like I said, I think the Chelsea punishment
mad one
before the Man City one. I think Chelsea's punishment will come before the
I think
Man City one.
because
I think the Man
they've
City one's gonna.
I think because they've accepted it and they've held their hands up and almost taken it. In a way, I think they're trying to plead the look. We held our hands up. Can you be lenient with us? Play right.
I honestly think the punishment when it comes to City is when Pep will Pep will leave. Pep will already be gone. It will kind of be like they're waiting for Man City's downturn period. Oh, you know what? We're coming hard on City because Scott M brings up a good point. Manchester City brings a cash cow to the league, right? It's almost you don't want to bite the hand that's helping you make money. So I think they're gonna hand. I think Chelsea's punishment will come next, then City. City will come when when Pep says, "Oh, okay, I'm bored. I'm gonna go somewhere else, or maybe manage the Spain national team." And then that's when they're gonna hand down all the rulings. Oh, City, you're gonna get this and this and this. I really think that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be like 3 years later when you see the punishment. Since Chelsea self-admitted, I think that's gonna come sooner, maybe this season or next season. You know, if I was Chelsea, I'll take it this season because this season, you know, they're coming back. You know, maybe they finish 6th or 7th. You know, but if I'm Chelsea, I would take the punishment this year rather than next year.
And that's a good point. It's not only the relegation teams, right? It's also teams potentially that could have got into that Champions League.
Everything. It's even prize money. That one finishing one place higher is more prize money. Like you earn more the higher up in the league you live. Look, we're going to see what happens with it. It's all ifs and buts and maybes.
It's a massive can of worms that they've cracked with this now. Oh, there's a tail in the
they need to be consistent with it, I think, is what needs to happen. They need to be consistent with it now, not just leave it at that. Guys, I want to talk about transfer speculation and some news that's floating around at the moment. So,
ain't gonna happen.
Before we go on to that, whoever's watching,
yeah, 100%.
It's not going to happen. But let's pretend. By the way, smash the like, hit the subscribe, much appreciated. So, what do you make of this? Tottenham Hotspur are expected to reject any January offers for Richarlison amid interest from the Saudi Pro League, as Spurs want to retain the Brazilian services. Richarlison is determined to remain in the Premier League amid links with a Saudi Pro League switch. Bear in mind, the source of this is Footy Insider, which is probably one of the lowest level ITKs in the game. So I wouldn't take this with too much seriousness. But nonetheless, do we believe that? Do we think Ange wants to keep Richie?
I personally, I think it's just paper talk, man. It's just stuff to drum up, bit of noise, bit of business, bit of chatter and stuff. Like, I know those Saudis have bought some players, but I honestly can't see anyone silly enough to want to pay decent money for him. Let alone Everton saying that we stiffed them and like he was worth 80 million.
But JP, the Saudi league wants to raise its profile, and if they sign Brazil's number 9, a lot of Brazilians will start watching the Saudi league now.
R9.
I refuse to say R9.
I would drive with Charleston, fly over to England, drive if it's possible through the English Channel to get him to the Middle East. I would do that easily. I would offer the driving services. I'll be his Uber. I'll be his Uber cab to get him to Saudi Arabia in a heartbeat. I would take that deal. Though I don't believe the report, but I will take it.
Oh man, if that was on the table, like seriously, even if it is personally, even 30 million, if it was half of what we paid, I would take the 30 million and invest that in someone else, and that's literally 30 million less than we would pay for a real striker.
Yeah.
Do you think this is more likely to happen in the summer or January? Richarlison moving on, or do you think no, we're going to keep him?
I really think it's going to be in the summer because I don't think we'll do a big business, man. I believe Ornstein or was it Eccleshare that like we don't have. Suppose we don't have money, right? We're going to be creative. We're going to be creative.
We still got at least that 50 million to withdraw still that we haven't taken out, right?
I don't believe
because that's
for
still there.
transfers.
And
I think that's for infrastructure. Because they did say
I'm
it's
sure
150 million is a combination of transfer and infrastructure.
Wow, it was to be used by the club or something like that, right? Which could be anything.
Yeah,
from
that means
painting the ceiling, painting
cinema,
the ceiling to anything, right?
Go karting, turf.
But potentially that money's still there, and I believe that it was the time frame was up to the end of this calendar year, right? Was it this calendar year?
I thought it was calendar year. When y'all saw the report and it said about be creative, honestly, at a minimum, we need 3 signings. We need a center back, we need 1 midfielder, and we need a forward. I don't think we're going to get 3. I honestly think we'll get 2. I don't think we're going to get all 3. I'm being really honest here. I would be shocked if we made 3 signings in the January transfer window.
But do you think Richarlison will be one of them that goes out?
I don't know. I don't think so.
But it also depends. It also depends on if someone actually takes Hugo, right? Because he's going to be available on a free, but that frees up cash, right, in terms of wages. I don't know what's going on with like Perisic because I thought I heard that he'd already signed for, was it Hajic split or something? But that was at the start of the season, so I don't know if that went anywhere because essentially he's going to be on a free at the end of this season as well, isn't he? If someone madly comes, Perisic.
Perisic is that ends. Dyer's on a free. Perisic is on a free.
Yeah.
Ben Davies has got 1 more year, 1 more season after this one.
But I mean, someone could come in and take Hugo now, which at the end of the day, if he gets 200 grand a week or whatever it is.
When did we sign Ryan Sessegnon? 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. Yeah, 2019. So it's 2021, 22. Sessegnon's contract ends as well.
Yeah.
Sessegnon's contract comes to an end.
I just got to.
Was that a 5-year deal?
To believe it, to be honest with you, I would think we'll sign that center back because of the whole, VDV, especially if we don't know, because people will say he's going to come back before New Year's or maybe mid-January. It would be responsible of our club to get another center back, and I think we'll have to choose between a forward and a midfielder, because I have some strange inclination that Dosar and Basuma are going to be gone for 2 games. They're going to live with that, with Højbjerg and Skip and Lo Celso and go and Bentancur and go with that. So I'm thinking maybe 1 forward and one forward.
What about this guy? We've been linked with him today, Rafinha.
Oh, that one is, I mean, had me falling out the chair, had me laughing. Not because of the interest of Rafinha, but the swap deal,
Romero, right?
That makes absolutely no sense. Our best defender.
Can I say some fans would be happy with that? Some Spurs fans think Romero is too rash for Spurs.
I'm sorry, and I wanted to, okay, how I say this nicely without saying the word slap. I want to investigate their brain. I want to medically diagnose them for delusional. Like, is there any way possible? Like, our best defender.
I want to investigate your brain.
Yeah,
come here.
We've just lost.
Put your head down.
Like, are you beyond delusional? Are you beyond delusional? Like, he's so rash. Like, 1 red card. Like now you want to give him up for Rafinha and we'll have Eric Dyer and Davies starting for the next couple of months. Are you thinking like when I've seen it on Twitter, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, we may hate Daniel Levy, but he cannot be that dumb to swap there for Rafinha for Romero, and know what we got back there. Are you crazy? Our best center back for.
Does he
No.
does he care about that though, Mari? Does he give him
He cares about top four. The one thing
All
I
right.
say about Levy,
Guys, one second. Forget swap deal, Murray. Forget swap deal. Let's say we found a way to bring Rafinha to Spurs. Two questions. Number one, is that a good signing for Spurs? And number two, where does he play?
no, it's a great signing. I mean, I would love Rafinha, except no swap deal. That would be
Yeah. Where would you play?
That would be totally ask. But I
where
would
you play Rafinha?
Rafinha. They put on the right for Leeds. He was on the right for Leeds.
So what we saying?
That's what I remember. That's what I remember him playing on the right. But that means we got Brendan Johnson on that side, Kulu on that side, and Rafinha now.
Well, Brendan Johnson's never played on the right for us. He's always on the left.
No, but predominantly for Forest, he was on the right. Right.
Well, he's a right winger, yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, that's his key position. So now we've got three in that position.
But going back to the swap,
it makes a good point. Barcelona think we're idiots. We took Chicken Royale and Clement Longap off him.
Yeah.
So why would they not say, give us Romero, we'll give you Rafinha, because you're stupid enough.
If you don't ask,
stupid enough.
If you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't ask, you don't get.
This is a great comment. We've proven we're dumb. Like we're proper stupid.
I on live stream will combust because this will be the most dumbest move in the history of Spurs to do a swap deal, Rafinha for Romero in January in the current condition that we are in the club. If you told me we were lined up with four center backs, it does not make sense. Absolutely does not make sense. That's what I said. That rumor is bullcrap, right? But I don't fault Barcelona for trying because they did give us Langley and Royale. But we would have to be ultimately stupid, ultimately like delusional to do that swap.
I agree, right? If we're going to do a swap deal, it's got to be with players we don't want, like Sessegnon, Davies, Dyers. Give them Chicken Royale back. I'd even consider getting rid of Porro. I think he's overrated, but okay, we can have a debate about that another day. But there's many other players that we should be looking to do swap deals with. Even Lo Celso, if he's not going to play for us, then give him Lo Celso. We'll take, Rafinha, whatever. But if we have to give up our best players like the Sons, the Romeros, the Van der Vens, the Vicarios, then it was stupid. We're
trying to build a team. You're trying to build a team, and then you're giving away your best assets.
Exactly. The other player we've been linked with is this one here. Radu Dragusin he's Romanian, but he plays for Genoa in Italy. Now, I'm a bit worried about this one, guys. I don't know how much you don't know, but I'm a little bit worried, and I'll tell you why. Last time I said this was about Van der Ven, so hopefully I'll be wrong again. But so he's young. So like Van der Ven, he can be coached and taught the way that the manager in the club wants. So that's a good thing with young players. They're still open-minded and can be taught good habits. When I've looked at him, attacking, technical, creativity, and all these attributes, he's very low on the stats and rankings, especially technical and creativity. Now, that worries me because I think an Ange player playing Ange ball needs to have fitness, technical ability, and quick decision-making. His short-range passing, so no chipped balls, long balls, but his short-range passing, typically for keeping possession of the ball, in his own half, he's very high. He's at 90%. So in terms of playing possession ball in his half of the pitch, he's a good player. And in terms of defending, like just out-and-out defensive duties, That's his highest quality. So if you're looking for someone who can defend and who's got good short range passing for ball possession, he's a good player. But in terms of technical ability, creativity, what he can offer in the attacking phases, he's not very good at all. Like really not.
Well,
I'm a bit like this with this player.
You're almost getting another Bentancur. You're not really getting the Madison.
He is another Juventus player.
He's currently at Genoa. Was he at Juventus originally? I don't know.
Yeah.
On loan. Yeah, so he's a Juventus player who's at Genoa on loan. But literally, in terms of his attributes, attacking 37, technical 42, tactical 58, defensive 74, and creative is 39. So he's more like a defensive midfielder, right?
He plays centre back.
Right-footed, yeah.
I've heard he plays centre back.
Defensive centre, defensive right.
The thing is, when you look, the way I look at it, JP, is this: you're looking for a player that can come in when Romero or Van de Ven are injured. Now, or also we can rotate without there being a big drop off. Romero and Van de Ven both strong. Romero and Van de Ven both technically good, both good passers of the ball. You'd say Van de Ven has got more pace, but Romero's got more aggression. So there's a bit of they balance each other out. This player doesn't have quite those same skills. The technical side of his game is lacking. Pace-wise, I'm not too sure. But like I said, his short-range passing accuracy is very, very good. And he can defend. He can actually defend. Eric Dyer cannot defend. Like he can't do the job that he's supposed to do, the basic bit of, can you please defend? He can't do it. Whereas this guy can. So it's an upgrade from Dyer, for sure.
Yeah. And as you say, at the end of the day, if it is literally cover, right? In terms of when these two either need a rest or are out for a period of time. So it's definitely an upgrade from like those two. But is that someone, or do we want someone that's actually going to push Romero and Van der Ven to keep their places?
Well, if you look at Arsenal, they signed Yuri Timber. He competes for places. He's a very, very good football player. You look at someone like Ben White, I'm sorry, there's a drop-off compared to Gabriel and Saliba. There's a drop-off. Whereas Timber, there isn't. So I don't know.
Would Timber be a starter?
Sorry?
Wouldn't Timber be a starter?
Well, he's a centre-back.
He's young, isn't he?
But he's good. JP, he's really good. He's a very good player.
It was a big injury when they lost him. It really messed with the depth. I would say this. I think, he's already better than Eric Dyer. I would say this, because I'm trying to think of who's available to get, and if we have to pay an arm and a leg to get, this is where us being creative, right? That report, we're being creative. So we're going to get this guy from Genoa, to come in. It's going to be cheaper, and it's going to be someone that we don't have to pay, the English tax, or someone that may not be wanting to come to Spurs because maybe they're playing in the Champions League or Europa League. So, it is basically a creative move that can possibly work out. VDV worked out, right? That was somewhat a creative, move, So, we're probably going to be used to more of who type signings than, oh, I know this guy type signings, to be honest.
And that's fair, because one of the things that we said when he first came along, knowing the types of players he got for Rangers, knowing the types of players, he does go to these, I don't know, these obscure leagues or whatever you want, Japanese league or something like that, to like bring these players there. So he's not a big name. Give me a star, give me an established player. He kind of tends to pick these gems, you can call them, from the outside. But I don't know if it's different at Spurs. Now he's got a team, right? He's got a great big. Uh, I'd like to think, like we've brought in this director of football now. They're in charge of kind of like going out and doing the scouting and finding players. So whether that's out of Ange's hands now or not, and like, I don't know how he copes with that. Does he cope with that or not? But I think speed's probably the biggest thing. Kind of like
We
for
definitely,
me.
I agree, JP. We need someone with pace at the back because as soon as we lost Van der Ven, the whole high line system collapsed for me. It's almost, and Udogie as well because Udogie's quick. Porro's got a bit of pace, I guess, but not quite. But once there's no pace in the back line, you're literally praying to God that Vicario is a magical sweeper keeper and just saving everything,
100%.
And he literally was the back end of that Chelsea game.
That's what
I know
a ridiculous game.
I just want to say really quickly, still, just looking at Andy Lloyd, who made a comment. It's not about his comment. His thumbnail is awesome. Miracle Grow.
Premium all-purpose compost ecoglu. That's the garden fertilizer, isn't it? You buy from Homebase.
Massive. Love that.
Creative. I like it.
Also, big up to William as well. 7-month member of the channel. Big up, William. Thank you so much. Do you know what? I tell you what else caught my interest. I'm not surprised, but Veliz. Apparently, he's disconnected with his present circumstance and is seeking an exit in January. Now, this was a story that was I found online. To be fair, he was playing a lot of games last season for his club. He's come to Spurs. He's had a little cameo role against Luton away, and that was it. And he's not getting any looking whatsoever. And again, is this a player that's not ready? One for the future? I mean, what are we doing with this player? Because I'm not surprised he's upset.
Let me say something about this because I laughed. This is where, like I said, I trust Ange, right? But I don't know if this is truly an Ange signing. And we talked about this, right? He's approved everything that come in. You take Julian Alvarez, right? Julian Alvarez was like a star for River Plate, and he was, ready wherever team that he was going to go to. And I said that he went to the right club because we were looking at him, and I was like, you know what? I think who was the manager at that time? I think it was Conte, or was it Jose Mourinho? Well, and I was saying, as much as I want him, I don't think it will be the right environment for him to grow. And he went to the right person in going to Pep. And now, and I told you this, though, that Real Madrid will be looking at Alvarez. They will be looking at Alvarez, and they are wanting him. And remember, I told you, he wasn't happy. I wanted to say Alvarez wasn't happy over the summer because, he just wanted trouble. But Alvarez wanted more playing time because Alvarez is like, hey, I'm good. I'm a star. And I'm not going to be coming off the bench and be a super sub. I need to play. And so with Veliz, I watch a lot of Argentinian league because, I'm a big Boca Juniors fan. The guy was scoring goals in the Premier League of Argentina, the Argentina league. He was scoring goals. And like I told you, he has a knack of being at the right place at the right time for scoring goals. And I think he looked at the Spurs situations like, all right, they just sold Kane and whatsoever. Hey, I'm going to get my legit chance. But when he got to the club, it's more like, I think there's a communication breakdown. Because I think it's now the Spurs are looking at him as one for the future. And Veliz is like, no, I'm ready to play. I want to play against top quality clubs because I just played against top quality competition in the Argentina league. And so I'm not surprised that he's discontent because they got him playing with the U18s and 19s. And he's like, no, I want to play with against the big boys, right? I played against the Boca Juniors and River Plates of the world. I want to be able to play. So I just think that to be able to keep him content, we might have to loan him out, which sounds funny because we're lacking in forwards, but we may have to loan him out to keep him happy because he's playing first team football. So, like I said, I trust the process of what Ange is doing, but I don't know if there's just this signing was gotten by somebody else and Ange did fully sign off on it, and communication has been like, okay, Villies, we're getting you, but you're not going to get immediate minutes.
I think. Well, personally, I think he'd be silly if he didn't know that, right? He's coming to the Premier League. I understand he wants to prove himself in a real game and stuff like that, but he's coming to the Premier League in a team that's the higher, let's say the top half of the Premier League. Essentially, he's got to sunny spot, or he plays on the left, or he plays on the right. Plus, also understanding exactly how well the team are doing at the moment. I think if he's throwing his toys out the pram because he's not getting minutes because of that, maybe, and he's not doing the right thing. But saying that, on the flip side of it, I say honestly, fair play to him for speaking up, because he can obviously see how crap Richie's doing, and he must be thinking, I can do better than that.
Here's the question: if Son gets injured, touch wood, he doesn't. If he gets injured and Richarlison's out, will Villiers get a chance, or will we?
We have to. No, we have to. We
don't have to. We could.
No, but he's literally the only forward we've got.
We could put Kulu and Lo Celso on the pitch. You know, doesn't have to.
No, I know, but
we should.
Because
we should play him,
he's the forward. He is the forward, isn't he? And he came on, didn't he? Did he come on against Luton or something? That was it, Luton for like last 2 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Like whatever it was. Yeah. So I think now with Richie, like as Andy Lloyd said, with Richie being out for a bit, I think he probably will get a few more minutes, because we tend to give Son a rest after about 70, 80 minutes, don't we?
Yeah.
Richie's out. Obviously, Brennan's just coming back. It means literally we'll have kind of like no forward really, unless we suddenly go with, as you say, putting a forward-thinking midfielder up front. But you got a striker there, use him.
It'd be interesting to see if that does happen. What Ange does. I mean, yeah, Villiers 100% has to play then. For me, I agree with you, JP.
Because Ange did say at the start, look, that's the reason we're keeping him, is like we're going to integrate him into the team, and he will get minutes later on, kind of like towards the back end. Which otherwise, I'll go back to the point I made right at the start: was what was the point of getting rid of Dane Scarlett?
Well, I think you're allowed to bring back your loan deals in January if you want.
I know. But I just meant in terms of loaning Scarlett out, which he's going to get first team football at Ipswich. I think he's at now, right? But he's going to go out there, whereas he could have been integrating with your Sons and Kanes and not Kane, Sons. Hopefully not Richie. But maybe he's getting a better education out there and actually playing games. Whereas from Velez's point of view, he's obviously feeling a bit hurt because, yeah, he's playing in the under-23s, but he's not actually getting serious game time. First team game time.
Scarlett is only 19.
Yeah, but how old is Velez?
Do you know who's doing? Do you know who's doing quite well for in the low leagues at the moment? Like really, really well. Jack Clark.
Well, it's in the lower leagues. It's only one league under us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the league below us.
He is steaming. He is steaming. He got shitload of assists last season, and I think he's flying as well at the moment.
He's having an unbelievable season so far.
But the thing is, too, right? You know, and Adrian mentioned Scarlett being 19, and you have Belize, right? And we signed these guys, right? This year, this is where expectation comes, right? This year, my expectation was we finish top 8, and we have an identity, and then we start playing some of these young guys like Phillips, like Belize, right? Because it's the year 1 of the project. Because this is the year they're going to play. It's not going to be year 3, year 4 of Ange, right? This is the time we're going to unearth young talent because Ange is going to unearth young talent, right? And he has played some young talent, right? Young talent from Bundesliga, BDV, Udoji. So I don't see what is the big problem. Scarlett's 19. Belize is 19. Like, because honestly, this is the year we're supposed to see these young players play because you're never going to see them play, right?
Yeah,
and I think the 10 games that we started, okay, right, not has us maybe realistically top 4, top 5, top 6, but I still think the objective was also getting some of the young players be able to play, you know, especially now that
would you say, Mari? Would you say that that's slightly changed now because of that great start that we've had to the season?
Yeah, the
10
great start
games
was,
unbeaten and stuff like that. Now suddenly,
right?
I agree with Hasper. It was great to start,
but was the year.
But it's bad because now we are not allowed to experiment because we got to get results. We got to get points. It's almost like why Conte never played the young players because he has to get results, and now it almost seems like Ange is put in a position we got to get points. So Dorton is not there at the time.
Murray, can I weigh in on this? Right, go back 3 months and listen to what I said on this show on a Monday. Right, I said it, and I knew this was gonna happen. I said, what is the project? Right, this word. This is exactly what I said then. I'm going to repeat what I said back then. I remember what I said. I remember exactly what I said. I have never been on a coaching course in my life where they coach you to be a project coach, a project football manager. You are coached to develop players, make them better, and then bring them together as a team and play as one. That is what every coaching badge course teaches you. And the more badges you do, the more advanced, the more technical, more tactical it gets. Okay. Now, this whole project manager is something the media have created. This is something that people jump on, trust the process, new project, transitional phase. Oh, right. Any manager who goes into a club, your objective is to win. Win. How you want to win, that's down to the manager. Is there a philosophy you need to build to deliver your wins? Is it a couple of transfers you want to get your win? Is it something that you just want to focus on? Whatever the opposition does, we're going to counter them. And I don't need that much time to figure that out once I get a few players in. And okay. There's no such thing as project managers, process. It's all nonsense. At the end of the day, depending on what your philosophy is, that will determine how long you need. So if you want to play like Man City, you need time and patience. And if you want to speed it up, shitloads of money, right? So once Pep spent £300 million, that's it. They were up and running because they're already a half decent team. If you're Spurs, which is a very average team, not that great, but not completely terrible, you're going to need time and patience. And in that time and patience phase, you're going to need investment along the way, which is what I think we're doing. But this thing where everyone talks about, but now's the time to play the kids, now's the time to experiment. Based on what? You don't know what the plan is. We don't know what the project is. No one.
One knows what the project is.
No,
This is the plan. We're just guessing. Well, we guess all the time. Ange, if you look at Ange, everywhere he's been, there's no project. In season 2, he's cooking. He has a very up and down first season. The second season, he absolutely batters it. Like he properly kicks ass. That's not a project. That's 1 year of stability. Second year, we cook. This whole 4 or 5 year project, I don't get where it comes from.
Then I don't get why this club signed these players to then say they want for the future, because they're never going to play. They are never going to play. They're never going to come. Dorrington, you might as well look for a new address. You are never going to play. And
He's also doing well for England, at the moment.
Phillips the same thing. If you cannot come in against Wolves, right? And we know Eric Dyer is. We've seen his ceiling. I've seen Davies' ceiling, and it's crap. It's crap. Then you're never going to play. You're never going to come in. And so it's just like, I almost think that we still don't know as an identity what we want as a club. Because to sign Valise is a waste. To me, it's a waste. Especially knowing the fact that we've lost Perisic, we lost Solomon, but Charleston, we lost garbage.
There's no real balls in the box.
Yeah. So you tell me, and like I said, for me, this year the expectations was not high for me. And I'm like, this is the year that you have to see some of these kids incorporated, come in and play. But still, you're right. You're right. We're still in that mode of, we're taking a step back, but it's still win now. The one for the future will always be one for the future. It will always be one for the future.
If we were in a project, right, and as Has says here, this is the year to experiment. So if we were in experiment mode, no one should be moaning or complaining about the loss to Chelsea. No one should be questioning, criticizing, or being a little bit disappointed that we lost to Wolves, because this is an experiment, right? Experiments go wrong. Experiments go right.
Well, they have to go wrong. They have to go wrong to get better, right?
The reality is, but Mario, the reality is, we're not experimenting. This isn't like the test phase.
We're playing Villa, right?
We're trying to win a place back in Europe.
They have Ollie Watkins, and what's the other guy's name, right? And they're going against Dyer and Davies, right? Right? I'm imagining we're going to possibly get pumped at home, right? I would rather get pumped at home with Davies and Dorrington playing and see their raw talent, or if they have raw talent, than see Dyer and Davies get pumped, because I've seen them get pumped before. They're ready. Their expiration date has already passed with our club. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I do what you're saying.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's what Iggy's argument was a couple of last Monday or whenever it was, right? In like terms of just like play them, but I think it is different, isn't it?
JP, JP, 1 minute, JP. What you just said links to what Dope Boy says. He didn't experiment though, right? But how do you know what your idea of experimenting is as a fan? Is you want to see Ashley Phillips, you want to see Donnelly, but in Angie's world of Angie's experiment on that day is no. I want to see Dyer Davies with my eyes in my team. I want to see Højbjerg sitting in front of them in my team. I want to see Lo Celso come on with 30 minutes to go and see what he does. He did experiment in his way. Does that make sense? Well, just because we know what Davies, Dyer, and Højbjerg and these players are like, just because we know, this manager needs to go through that same process again.
Big up, John. But John, this is the problem. This comment here. All this talk about kids, did everyone ever think these kids aren't good enough? Well, here's the problem. We know Dyer, but we know Dyer and Davies are not good enough.
This is what Conte said, Murray. Conte said that.
Dyer and Davies are not good enough.
Yeah, but Conte said the academy's not good enough. Remember Conte said that?
They're not
And then
good
look
enough.
at
I'd
and
rather
then look
play
at Dorrington and
young,
stuff like that
not
now.
good enough, than 29-year-old and 28-year-old not good enoughs.
Right. Here's the problem, guys. Right. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. The last four managers have all done the same thing. So are we now at a place where we're saying as fans, all these managers are wrong? They all lied on their CVs about being good managers. Or are we as fans missing something here? Because it can't be every single manager. The same issue with the youth keeps happening. And it does. It does. The same, even Pochettino.
Phillips is not an academy kid.
What
Phillips was signed. Phillips is not an academy kid.
But Murray, he was signed for the academy. That's why he plays in the under-21s. He plays for the academy. He was signed to play in the academy. The only player that we signed who was young that went into the first team pretty quick was Pape Sarr. The only one. He's the only young player we signed who went into the first team pretty quick. I'm just saying. I'm not arguing the point. I'm just saying a fact.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
I'm just saying a fact.
I think that our situation.
Even Poch. Tim Sherwood brought Harry Kane into the first team, not Poch. So tell me, Pochettino, what young players did he bring in? The only one I can think of is Winks. Was there another one?
I can't think of.
So let's think about it. The only young player Poch brought in was Winks in 5 years. The only player Mourinho brought in was Skip, 1 in 2 years. Conte, Pape Sarr. So each manager only ever seems to bring one in, and half the time they don't hit the mark. Winks hasn't hit the mark. Skip hasn't hit the mark.
Tanganga, he could add in.
Tanganga he brought in as well. That lasted 2 minutes. So maybe, just maybe, when Conte said the academy isn't good enough, as much as fans dislike Conte, and as much as fans think that he was the devil, maybe he was right. Now, look, personally, I know the academy is good enough, but but are they match ready for the first team? That's the problem I think we've got.
That's a different question in a way, because when you say Conte said that the academy is not good enough, suddenly now 6 months later, they're at the top of every single league that they're playing in.
What I don't understand, JP, is right.
Yeah, no, I think he means players ready for the first team. Academy's not good enough.
We need a minimum of 2, not 1, but 2 center backs and another forward. We signed Valise and we signed Phillips, who are not getting any playing time. Yet the injuries and the lack of performances is just, for me, once again, our club is so incompetent because we needed a minimum of 2 center backs who can play. We signed Phillips. All right. I can stand with VDV and Romero there. All right. I could get it and Dyer being the cover. Now that Romero has been suspended, now that you have VDV gone, you got Davies and Dyer. Phillips can't get a few minutes in.
But that does beg the question, though, Mari. And like I said the other day, I think he knows if we are saying trust Ange, he sees that kid every single day in training, every single day for the last 10, 15 weeks, right? There has to be a reason why he's not picking him. And I think because it's not blatantly, like, he's not going to come out there and say, no, he's not good enough, he's not ready yet, he's not going to say that, is he? But I think the fact that he's not thrown him in there or thrown him in at the deep end probably does speak volumes. And if he's not ready, he's not ready. He may be ready to be on a bench to come on in the last 5 minutes if there's an injury or something like that, or as another body to come on and do a job. But I guess he's not. That's kind of how I feel. If the manager doesn't think he's good enough to be chucked in at the deep end, we have to trust his judgment. We can ask the question, but whether we'll get an answer or no, because kind of like things like that, as like fans, you don't really get to know, do you? We want to see him. We want to see him like what he's like, but that's not what Ange's paid to do. He's not paid to show us his players.
The thing is, a couple of comments here, okay? Ange had a chance against Fulham to see if the kids were ready in the League Cup. Graham, yes and no. Yes, I agree with you, but no, you were upset that Ange didn't take the League Cup seriously and play the full team and dismiss a cup competition. So it can't be there's a chance to play the kids, but at the same time, we want to win that cup competition. So that kind of
but he didn't do either though. He didn't do either though, did he? Still,
Yeah,
he did. No, you're right. He did neither. You're right.
Lost in the Carabao Cup with the rejects, right? If we have lost with the young kids, okay, that would have been disappointing. But at least the kids got to play.
You would have taken it. That's a game under their belt.
We lost with the rejects. We lost with the rejects, and I'm like, okay, we're out.
No, you're right. But my point is, you can't play the kids and want to win the cup. You I mean, unless the kids.
I know, and that's fair. But if you're gonna experiment, then experiment with the future.
Yeah, but I think he was experimenting with the B team to see. And do you know what? Maybe that was the right thing to do because now he's got the B team out there.
I said that,
and they're still crap.
And it's still crap.
We know they're crap. We know they're crap. We know it.
And hopefully now he knows they're crap.
I don't. It's such a difficult situation. Dope Boy says Dorrington's better than Dyer.
I agree with that.
But based on what? We've not seen Dorrington play.
The clips I've seen of Dorrington.
I think for the under 23s or under 21s or whatever he's in, he's obviously better than the players that are there at the moment.
Scarlett was the Harry Kane replacement. What happened to that?
It's a big step up though, isn't it? To suddenly start playing with men now and men that hack you and push you over and bully the crap out of you.
Because we can't stand Davies and Dyer so much, we're wishing the youngsters can just come in and outdo them. We're just wishing it, right? Whereas the manager's watching them and thinking, I don't think you're ready.
Eric Dyer is the worst centre back on the planet, brother. I told you the game I was done with Dyer was the game against. What was the game against? It was the game where Lloris came out of the box, right? And he did he foul someone? No, he didn't foul someone.
We can't stand Dyer at this company.
And Dyer did not run back. He went to argue. He did not run back to possibly clear the ball from coming out.
Is that Leeds?
I think, it was that game. That's when I was done with Dyer. Done with Dyer. And then, of course, I saw Rashford emasculate him. Rashford, can you imagine what's going to happen on Saturday, let alone City? If we play a highlight with Eric Dyer?
Sunday.
No, Villa, isn't it?
Yeah. What,
Villa this Sunday.
Is it Saturday or Sunday? It's Sunday.
It's a Sunday game.
Sunday. Hasbro says the academy play the same style as Ange, albeit both in the early stages. They do, but it's only been 9 months. They're going to need at least 2-3 years of that way, I think, before we can see the academy kids really flourish in the Ange system. But maybe that will have to be sped up because we can't keep. I mean, I've said it. If we lose to Villa, I can see the axe from our fans going towards Ange. I said a couple of weeks ago, Ange out is beginning, and it shouldn't be. But our fans are like that.
I mean, in all fairness, I've not seen anyone say Ange out, right? Or I've not seen any. I've not seen anything around that, and I can understand. What I can understand is, for instance, Mari's argument in terms of we know what Dyer and Davis are like. Let's see what Ashley Phillips and like your Dorringtons or whoever else there is there. If we're going to put them on the subs bench, then let's see them play. I understand that argument and why isn't he playing them, but
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with Dyer. Like completely
it
done.
would be shit.
I like my steak. I like my steak well done. I know some people don't like it. Done. I'm like done with Dyer. Done. I've put Phillips, put your academy kids, put whoever. I would rather see them than Eric Dyer.
See, Scott M does have a bit of a point here. Phillips couldn't make it into a mediocre championship team. No manager thinks a player like him is ready.
And I bet you he'll be better than Dyer. I believe you, Scott M. I believe you. I'm done with Dyer.
Do you know what my frustration is? If we're going to buy a young player who's between 18 to 21, I want us to buy players that can go into the first team, like Pape Sarr. Young player, yeah, he can play in the first team. He can do it. And he'll get better over the years. When we sign all these other players like these Phillips, Jack Clarks, all the others, Villiers, if they're not going to play, then I'm with you guys. There's no point in signing them so that one day maybe they get a chance. Because I'd rather still have said about than Dyer.
That's pushing the boat a bit. That is pushing the boat a bit.
I'd rather you play next to me at centre back than Dyer and Davies.
I'm with that. I'd rather Stell than Dyer in the backline. I'm done.
Mate, I'm a good defensive player. I can't in the air though. I'm too short. Hi, Stell. If the book is thrown at Chelsea and they're relegated, do you see Levy pushing out the boat to help build a league, winning the team? Mate, Levy will do whatever makes money.
He ain't pushed the boat out for no one.
He'll do whatever makes more money. So if Dyer starts for Aston Villa, if Dyer starts for Aston Villa, are we saying Big Edge hasn't learned his lesson? No, my answer. I don't think he's. I don't think he thinks Phillips is ready. This was my argument. So, guys, tell me what you think. Right, this is what I said on Alan's show earlier. I think the next game is going to be Dyer, Davies, Højbjerg. I think all three of them start. Now, if he starts them, that is all the evidence you need that he doesn't trust the alternative. He doesn't trust it. However, if he starts Lo Celso or if he starts Phillips, then I'm in the mud. I'm in the mud because they are ready. And he's admitting that he got it wrong against Wolves. Or he's learnt his lesson, one of the two. So for me,
no, but if he wanted to see him in real life, in a real game situation, in a Premier League game situation, then he has seen that and he's made his decision now, right? So it's not that someone's wrong and someone's right. If he wants to see that live situation, he's now seen it and made a call on it, which is a good thing.
How is Ange going to play his philosophy with Eric Dyer, who got schooled by Rashford? Rashford's not the quickest brother on the field. And Davies, you saw Davies struggle. What was the game he struggled? He was getting
every single one of them. They got taken off at halftime.
I don't want to sound like expressions. They're going to put us in a split. I'm telling you, they are going to put at home. They're going to put us in a split. Like, and everybody saying Villa is a bad road team. They lost to Liverpool and Newcastle on the road. It's hard to win in those places. Like literally, I worry. If we play the high line with those cats against Villa, it may be a long day.
But hold on. Right, okay. Just like I told everyone, we're not going to play a high line against Wolves. We didn't play a high line against Wolves. We didn't because because you're gone.
No, even then, even not in the high line. If they press us up, oh my goodness, the mistakes. We can't play out from the back with those players, which is key to the system. I get it. If they press us,
but there's no evidence to suggest that Phillips can. And this is and listen, Ange pulled Phillips out of the other 21s into the first team as soon as Van der Ven was injured and Romero was suspended. He pulled him in. He said, right, you're in the squad now. Because he knows he needs another option in case Dyer or Davies get injured. Phillips would have trained with Ange's team for a week. In that week, Ange would have looked at it and said, right, is this guy ready? If he doesn't start against against Aston Villa, that is all the evidence our fan base needs that he is not ready. Because either he's not ready or the manager is rubbish. He's not good enough. The manager doesn't know what he's doing. So as a fan, where are you? Are you going to blame Ange for not being good enough? Or are you going to trust the manager? As you all keep telling me, everyone keeps telling me we trust him. Then trust him that he's making the best decision he can with the weak tools that he's got at his disposal. He's got broken tools.
And as much as people don't want to go back, I will be blaming Daniel Levy and the board because we had to get two center backs minimum who are ready to play. And that blame will be back on Daniel Levy. It will be back on Daniel Levy. 100% back on Daniel Levy. And people want to separate it and whatsoever, it will be back. If Phillips does not play, once again, this is on Daniel Levy. Because
I don't think he's going to play. I don't think he's going to start.
He's not going to listen. JP, let's go on to it. So we've got a watch long this Sunday. It's starting at 1:30 p.m. UK time. If you want to watch the watch long live, myself and JP will be at the match with match day footage as well. Check it out. The current league table is like this. Tottenham are 4th on 26 points. Aston Villa on 5th, 1 point behind. This really is whoever wins goes or stays in top 4. Villa have drawn 1, lost 1, and won 3 in the last 5. Spurs have won 3, but lost 2. In terms of goals for, Villa have scored more goals. In terms of goals against, we've got a slightly better defense. We've scored, well, not defense, but we've conceded 2 less. Goal difference, theirs is better. But this is basically a very even match, or maybe it's not with our injuries. Aston Villa on the road are terrible. They've only won 2 games all season on the road. Spurs at home have won every game except for the Chelsea game when we were down to 9 men, but that's a different story. This is really an intriguing game. So we were talking about the defenders. We're going to find out. But in terms of midfield, guys, I want to move it on to the midfield. What do we do there? Because Bissouma's suspended. Bentancur's only just come back from an ACL. Has he got 90 minutes in him? We don't know. The midfield options as it stands are Skip, Højbjerg, Pape Sarr, Bentancur, Lo Celso, and maybe Kulu if he plays in that role, but we know he's not. We know that Kulu's going to go right, and we know that Johnson's going to go left. So who's your midfield 3? I think Højbjerg's going to play in this, by the way. I've said it already. I think Højbjerg, Davies, and Dyer will start. But in an ideal world, who's your midfield 3? And who do you think Ange will start? JP.
Well, I suppose ideal world, you'd go. It has to be. I think Bentancur will start. He's going to go Bentancur, Pape Sarr, and Højbjerg. Højbjerg for the stability, Bentancur for the creativity, and Pape for his legs.
Who would you like to see start?
There's no other option, is there? There's no Maddison, there's no Bissouma, there's only Skip. And it kind of like you can chuck Gio in there, but
yeah,
I have a feeling that I think there's something up with him in Gio, or there's some.
Would you not go Pape Sarr holding mid, Bentancur centre mid, Gio attacking mid?
That's what I was thinking. That's what.
Well, I mean, we said we would have liked to have seen Gio last week, right? Didn't get a sniff last 8 minutes or something like that. 10 minutes he came on. These are the games without Maddison for him to be that replacement, for him to stand up and call that position. If he thinks he can play in it, he must say he thinks he can play in it. It's time for him to stand up and kind of like show it. But it seems like he's not getting the chance to show that. And it must be because there's something wrong in the background. That's the only logical explanation that I can come to for sure.
Murray, before you tell me yours, I just want to say to Mark Chango, you've asked me this question on multiple channels 1,000 times, and I've answered the same time. It's almost like maybe we've got reading or listening difficulties. So I'll say it to you again. The reason Phillips is on the bench is because there is no other centre-back left at the club. It is now down to the bare bones. He's an emergency player to bring on. You might say it's already an emergency, but in the eyes of the manager, it's not. It's not. I can't say it any more times. Go on, Murray.
What I would like to see is Lo Celso, Sarr as the holding mid, and Bentancur. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Højbjerg, Sarr, and yes, I'm going to say it, Skip. I'm telling you now, I would not be surprised if it's Højbjerg, Sarr, and Skip that plays. That's not what I want.
We are going to get
Celso or Kulu and Sarr and Bentancur. That's what I want. Either Lo Celso, Kulu, Sarr holding mid, and Bentancur. But I think it's going to be, I kid you not, Højbjerg, Sarr, and Skip.
God, I actually do think he's going to start Bentancur because he's given him a little bit more, and this could be a game. This could be a game, Murray, that he says, "All right, I'll start you, and then rather than coming on towards the back end, we'll start you and see how far you can go. And if at halftime you tell me it's tight or it's a little bit too much, fine, we'll bring someone else in." But I think he's left without options really than to give him a starting go now. He came on for thingy the other night, didn't he? Like Uruguay. And like didn't he set up a goal or something? I heard.
Yeah, they've done really well actually. Mark, I actually think you're deluded now. Chicken were out centre back. The only reason he did that was because we were down to 9 men. Dyer had already come on, and there was no other centre back on the bench because Ben Davies was injured. Like, I actually think our fans don't even know what they're watching on game day. Chicken Royale, he had no choice because Phillips wasn't on the bench and Davies wasn't on the bench. Go look at the bench before you make these mad.
I mean,
if I see Chicken Royale at centre back, I'm going home. I'm walking out the stadium.
What I would say, Mark,
and Chicken Man at the back.
I would ask Mark, how confident and how comfortable would you feel with Emerson Royal as one of the centre backs?
What's worse, by the way, Dyer and Royale, or Dyer, or what's the worst? What's the worst two combinations between Chicken, Dyer, and Davies? At centre back, it's got to be Dyer and Chicken Man. Surely.
Dyer said, Royale. Dyer Royale.
I think.
Did you? Oh my god!
I think the only thing I'd say about Emerson is that he doesn't really stick to a position, does he? He goes wandering a lot. And if we're going to ask him to play centre back, then it's going to be Dyer by himself, and we know how that's going to turn out.
I like I said, you know me. I have a balance of being positive and being negative, like a balance. But I don't see it will have to be an upset that we beat Villa. I just don't see how we win that in this game. I'm being really honest. I have to be very objective and look and see how are we going to beat Villa. Like people say, oh, we may score 3 against them. I don't see. I think we'll score a goal, but I think they're gonna score 3.
Guys, let's go through it. Let's go through it. Okay, forget what we want. Realistically, what do you think will happen? Right. So Vicario is going to be the goal.
Forest beat him 2-0, Murray. Just to say. And I know Nottingham Forest have got a little bit of a surge in.
Their team is organized, it's structured. We are trying to find our 11 now, right? Because Romero's not there.
Well, let's do it, Murray.
Not there.
Let's do the 11.
We're trying to find our 11. Forest, to their credit, they have their 11, right? It's not great, but they have their 11 that they can somehow pull up an upset and give maybe City problem or give any other problem. We're not in that position. We are still experimenting who is our 11. I mean, yes, Son is definitely a mainstay. Udogi was coming back, right? Is a mainstay.
Wait, Murray, let's do our 11. Let's do it. Let's do our 11, right? We all agree Vicario is the goalie, yeah? Easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Udogi's back. So if he's assuming he's back, that's the left back, right?
Udogi, Porro.
Udogi, do we all agree Porro right back? Because some people have said Porro right wing. Do we agree Porro right back or not?
Right back.
Right back.
I would go right back.
Okay, the back two.
Davies and Dyer. It's gonna be.
It's gonna be Davies and Dyer, isn't it?
Probably Davies and Dyer.
All right, Davies.
It's gonna be. It's different to what we'd want and what we'd like to see, but
Oh my god, nothing's changed in 4 years. Nothing has changed in 4 years. We're going with Davies and Dyer. This club. All right.
You know, Udogi's fast. Here's a really quick question for you, and I know it's a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
Udogi's fast. Would you put him as a centre back and Davis out on the left?
Did you see what happened to Davies against Crystal Palace?
No, I know, but I'm saying.
Have you seen who he's up against this time?
It's more about putting Udogi as a centre back for his pace.
Last time I saw Udogi make a centre back run, he got sent off against Chelsea. So I don't know, man.
I'm just here to ask a question, all right?
For me, I'd keep him as the left wing back because Aston Villa have got good wingers. They've got good wingers. We need to shut it down. They've got very good wingers.
Diaby's
I think
we need to shut it down.
Oh goodness.
I think the plan just has to be more offensive.
Right. So we've got Vicario in goal, Udogi left back, Porro right back, Dyer and Davies at centre back. My God. And then the midfield three. What do we think needs to happen?
He's like skip skip.
No, he's not going to start Skip. No, Murray. He's not going to start Skip. He won't.
Bentancur. Well, Højbjerg is definitely going to be there, isn't it?
I think Højbjerg will start. Yeah,
Højbjerg is definitely going to be there. Papa's going to start, and then it's out of Gio, Bentancur, or Skippy, right?
I think it's going to be Højbjerg, Pape Sarr, Bentancur.
I'd go with that.
Does anyone think, Murray, do you think Skip will start? Do you really think he will?
He might try to protect Bentancur to say, okay, I'm going to slowly bring him in and start Skip. It will not shock me, but I would rather see Bentancur. But who knows?
Let's go Bentancur because you know what? I'm going to get the press doing this.
Bentancur also had a few minutes for Uruguay, right? So again, that's another phase in his build-up. So Bentancur starts 60 minutes, maybe he goes off. So let's start him, Mari.
3 SS Sports. Bissouma is suspended. So you might need to change that one. So we've gone Højbjerg, Pape Sarr, Bentancur, our midfield three. Now, across the front line, what are we doing here? We've got Lo Celso that can potentially be left of a front three, does that for Argentina. We've got Brennan Johnson, who kind of plays there for us now, but he's a right winger. We've got Kulu, he only seems to play right wing for Spurs. We've got Sonny, we've got Veliz, and we've also got Brian Hill. What do we do? What do you guys think?
Johnson, Son, and Kulu.
I think the starters pick themselves, to be honest. As in,
is there no chance? Is there no chance of Brian Hill starting ahead of one of them? Or
I don't personally. I would say no because he's not had enough minutes yet. And if you know, in the same vein as Postecoglou wanting to see Dyer and Davis live in the flesh in a team, I'm sure he probably also wants to see Gil properly, right? Kind of before he starts. I don't think he's going to start them. I think it'll just be Johnson. He'll go with a trusted lot. Not to say that he shouldn't. I think Gill should be given a chance to replace Johnson, but I don't think he'll start. And we've had discussions already, right? In terms of should Kulu drop into the 10 and put Johnson out there and maybe Gill on the left. So there are options to play with, but he seemed quite rigid with those front three. Since moving Son into the middle, he's been pretty static in the players that he's chosen to start, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has been. He's been consistent, I guess,
with what he's had to play with.
Kulu is just so frustrating sometimes, man.
He is 100% Murray. Do you know what? If he had pace, he'd be lethal, wouldn't he?
Yeah, man. Not even at pace. He'll be Robin. He'll be close to the closest thing to Robin. No, I don't want to disrespect the legend that is Aaron Robin, but you know. I found myself the other day saying, because I saw him for Galatasaray, like, man, you know what? Sanchez, and I don't like Davison Sanchez. But I was just like, damn, can we swap trades? Dying for Sanchez? These Sanchez got pace.
Nah.
That's the position that we're in. That's the position that we're in. That we're like, man, would rather have Sanchez back if that's what's gonna happen.
He had to move on. Time to move on. I think kind of like he obviously went because we got money for him, right? Like anything else wouldn't have cut the mustard. And unfortunately, no one came in for Dyer, I don't believe. But at the end of the day, if he's available on the free next year, would you really want to be a team that spends money on him? You'd take him as a free, but I'm sure he'll have fun at Burnley or Luton or somewhere.
So I've just put together the team so we can look at it, get a visual of what we think is going to happen, right?
See how dynamic it is.
So this is kind of how we're looking against Aston Villa.
I think they win. I think they win by smiles, right?
Everyone has a team.
Listen, I think Udogie and Johnson on the left side is actually quite strong for us. I think that could potentially do something. Down the middle, Højbjerg, Davies, and Dyer. That's like a nuclear bomb waiting to go off. On the right side, Porro and Kulu. It depends if Porro's going to overlap. Then
Toxic is winding me up. He's winding me up.
Maybe Villa under 21s. Maybe Villa under 21s.
Oh,
I think, look, to be honest with you, this isn't bad. The Udogie does make it stronger because Emerson Royal got rinsed at left back against Wolves. This is better, but I think the worry for me here is two things. Number one, the defense in the middle is diabolical, and secondly, we don't really have any subs that can impact the game. Lo Celso maybe. Brian Hill has done nothing ever since he's come on in any game. That's it. There's no any other position. What do you do if there's nothing there? We need to make subs.
That's the thing with. Yes, Ed. Go on, call it, mate.
Villa are not that good, dude. How can you say that? They're 1 point behind us in the league. If we think Tottenham are good, then we have to say Villa are good.
Oh man, we're gonna get pumped.
Would you play Royale at centre back? No, Graham, please.
No, Graham, leave that one alone.
I want the old Graham back. Where's the old Graham gone? Bring back the old Graham. Let's hope that the team keeps it under 5 goals.
Right there.
I don't think we're going to get battered like that.
I don't
But
think we'll get battered.
I don't think we'll win though.
I have my prediction, but I'll wait till we get the score. But I don't think they'll score 5, but I don't think it'll be a pretty game.
Eric Dyer plays like he has a concussion. I think he needs a scan. Dyer and Davies will hold a high line on the edge of our penalty box. Listen, there's no other choice. No, Mari, Sanchez is never the answer. Do not even contemplate it.
No, I agree.
Do not complicate it.
I agree, Mark. Oh man.
So all right, let's do it. This is our predicted starting lineup. This is not what we want, guys. This is our predicted starting lineup. Based on this, what are your score predictions in the chat? Off you go. Mari, come on. You can go first because you've already thought this one out.
Villa 3, Spurs 1. 3-1. Ollie Watkins scores 2. Diaby scores the other, or McGinn. 3-1. 3-1. I know people are playing safe and say draw, but I have to be honest. 3-1 Villa.
3-1 to Aston Villa. JP. Disabled team is saying 3-1 Villa as well. Hasbro saying 3-1 Villa. Scott M 5-1 Villa. I expect nothing less from Scott M. Yari K with a 1-1.
I will go. I'm going to be 2-1 Tottenham. Yes, Mark.
Oh,
that's the one.
Mark says 2-1 Tottenham as well.
I think that
Aquasubs 2-0. Toxic 3-0.
While people will get through Dyer and Davis,
Adrian 2-0.
We have to know we've got Big Vic.
Big Vic. We've got
2 hopes of winning. No hope and Bob Hope. 2-2. 2-0 Villa.
Bob's left town.
Right. 3 SS Spurs. You can't pick 2 scores. It doesn't work like that.
1-1 or maybe
1.
Maybe good,
Spurs.
maybe shit.
2-1 Spurs says ugly fit.
Come on.
2-1 Spurs. There's a lot of people predicting a Spurs win. 2-0 Villa.
Heart
we had Madison,
head,
Romero. Listen, of course, if we had those players, this would be a different conversation.
Heart and head, man. Heart and head.
2-2. 2-1 to Villa. 3-2 loss. 4-3, a late Dyer winner. John, what are you on? What are you on, man?
Can you imagine, Mari?
Wish I watched this instead of England. I heard England drew with North Macedonia.
North Macedonia
finished the draw, did it?
Big Vic.
Harry Kane to the rescue. Big Vic with the big energy. 2-0 Spurs. 3-2 Villa. So do you know what? To be fair, the results are split. Either Spurs to win by a goal or to lose by a couple. So, and it's split. Wins and losses are split. Very few people have gone for a draw. Very few. So it seems like 50% think Villa will win. 50% think Spurs will lose. Mari's gone 3-1 Villa. JP's gone 2-1 Spurs. I am going to go with 1-1. And then Spurs are going to make subs. And we're going to lose. And we're going to lose 3-1 in the end. I'm going 3-1 to Aston Villa as well. I don't think we win this.
You're right, JP.
I don't think this.
Come on, man. After the game, I'm going to do interviews outside that stadium, and all you happy people who said 2-1, come and see me.
And anyone who calls this, go on, JP. Sorry.
And then we can mud still together. 3-1.
But me, I said 3-1. I mean, I would happily be.
Yeah, but you're far away. You're far away.
You can only mud me if Ashley Phillips or Lo Celso starts the game. Then you can mud me. It's all about the manager's tactics. Well, Toxic, the manager's tactics when Poch, Nuno, Stellini, Mason, Conte, and Jose, when they had Dyer and Davies as their option, none of their tactics worked. So.
Top bins. Do
you know what? The delusion is wild. 3-2 Spurs, Sonny Brace. That would be pretty good indeed. Watkins wasn't great tonight. Good. Hopefully he's like that on Sunday.
I hope I'm wrong. But I
Yeah,
just
I always remember Villa for in our 125th anniversary game we played them when we had that half and half kit, the half blue, half
Oh,
white.
Martin Joel was manager,
Um,
4-4.
Yeah, and like they were like, I don't know, they were like 4-0 up or 3-0 up or something at half time.
4-1, 4-2, something like that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
like
yeah.
and like all their fans were singing to us, "Happy birthday to you." Happy...
uh,
And then at the end of the game, we got it back.
explain me this about Villa, right? I've been to England. People don't know. I actually moved to Rochdale, Milnrow area, to take possibly a school administrator job over there. And so I've been around the country, and I've been to Birmingham. That's where Villa is, and I know their history. They won a Euros. They won a European Championship. Birmingham is not it's not a small city. And I know they have a good owner now, but that's a club that if they got a big money owner, I mean that's a club that you know. Do you see now? I mean, I have them
Murray,
finishing five,
Murray,
but
Aston Villa, Everton, and Tottenham, I would say, are of equal size in terms of trophies won and the kind of history those clubs have got.
yeah,
Right? All three dropped off when the Premier League began. Spurs, you would
notice
say,
that
have made the biggest comeback in
because
terms of
we're looking.
size. Well, it's the build. Well, no, I think it's because the team has got into the Champions League a lot more.
Yeah,
Everton, I think, had one season
Everton
only,
did.
and I don't think Aston Villa have at all. So
No,
I think because Spurs became part of the big six in terms of where we finish in the league, we have maybe pushed ahead of them. But in terms of trophies, nothing's changed. Those three clubs have always been known as big clubs in England, but just not the elite ones. It used to be basically Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal. And then it was below that, you'd say Tottenham, Everton, Villa, those kind of clubs. Only recently, City, Chelsea got into that conversation.
yeah,
Only
because
recently.
I stayed at the University of Birmingham, beautiful campus, and I've always wondered why Villa hasn't been bigger, knowing the fact that they've won a European Championship, and Birmingham is a big
Well,
city.
I think they've also had a problem with a chairman, right? Because they used to have that deadly Doug, was it Doug Ellis?
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
he was known for being Mr. Levy, in terms of scrimping and scraping on money and black players and things like that. But obviously, once the Premier League started, a player like the value for players suddenly jumped, didn't it? And it was like you had to pay 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, 30 million. And then they kind of didn't really go down to those, or they didn't step up to those levels of buying those kind of players.
Answer me
But
this question.
they did have Jude Bellingham,
Yeah,
Birmingham, and
no,
they
they did.
retired his shirt.
Now, my question is last question on this. Manchester's is Manchester greater area bigger than Birmingham? Because I know there's a
No.
difference. City.
Birmingham's the second biggest. Like Adrian says, it's the second largest city.
Okay, because I thought Manchester was big, because including the suburbs like Bury and
No, I think Birmingham's got, is it 4 million people? London's got 8 or 9 million. I think Birmingham's
London's by far the biggest. I know Liverpool's smaller than Manchester, greater area, but
Birmingham's got a 1.1 actually it's only 1.1 million. 1.1 million. Manchester's 500,000. That can't be right.
Manchester greater area has over 500. I thought it would be in the million.
Manchester's, I think, just the city.
Yeah, that was kind of the greater area, like Milnrow,
Kind of greater Manchester.
Yeah, nowhere competes with the size of London. London's huge. London's a major city on the planet. Like, it's in the top 5, isn't it? For
because I always look at Manchester as
business, economics,
as the second city in the UK, in England. I'm almost like, hey, City is the Manchester, not Manchester City, but the city of Manchester is, I think, it's second, and then Liverpool, Birmingham. But now that I remember, because I haven't been in Birmingham since maybe 2014. And that's when
anyone who buys Everton or Aston Villa with ambition, they are far more. Okay.
I know Everton could be big if they get things right.
The owners of Newcastle have bought a club that's got a very passionate fan base because it's the only team from that city, right? Although Sunderland isn't from Newcastle, it's in the same region. If a Newcastle type owner bought Everton or Aston Villa, they're buying a very big club. They're both big clubs, bigger than Newcastle. They're both bigger than Newcastle, without a question of a doubt.
Yeah. Especially Villa, because they have that European, and of course Forest. They've won 2, but
Everton have won like 9 or 8 league titles, man.
League titles, yeah.
I think they've only won like 3 less than Arsenal. They've only won 3 less than Arsenal.
Is it the same as? Did I hear someone say it's the same as City?
I mean, in America,
City are on 10 now. City are on 10.
I can run into Everton fans, so I know they have a following. Because I've run into Everton supporters here in the States. So I know, like, they have a historical following and stuff.
They've also won an FA Cup in more recent times than us. Not recent, but I think they won it 5 or 6 years after we won our last FA Cup. I think they won it in 96 or 95, something like that.
Yeah.
Everton.
But yeah,
Graham Sharp, he was good, wasn't he? Graham Sharp with his head. He was good with his head.
Mate, Neville Southall in goal. Legend.
Bin man.
All right, guys, look, we're going to wrap it up. I've been going for almost 2 hours. Just want to say thank you to everyone on the panel, as always. Mari, JP. We're done with the geography lesson. We could go on a bit more if you'd like us to. I want to say a big thank you to William, 7 months channel member now. Big up to you, William. Appreciate it.
Much love.
Shows this week. Mari, you doing the Love Lounge on Wednesday?
I'm gonna possibly do North London as hours and try to do a combined 11 of this season. Because I can only do one show because Thursday is Thanksgiving Day, and I'll be eating turkey with family. So
Yay.
there will be a show. So I may have to choose which one I want to do on Wednesday. So I'm thinking North London because I've already talked all about, Spurs, Aston Villa. So I might as well throw something different.
All right. So Mari will be live on Wednesday with some kind of a show. I'm sure Will Stewart will be doing something. Iggy's got his morning shows. JP might come up with some random news event that he wants to talk about.
Something that happens. We will be going live on Sunday for the watch along for the Villa game. Then our post-match show after that. JP and I will be live at the stadium, trying to grab some match day footage, pre-match, post-match interviews with fans. And then that brings us back to Monday next week for our weekly Monday night show, which I'm sure next week is going to be a fiery one because it'll be the day after the Aston Villa game. Let's see what happens. But other than that, guys, everyone in the chat, thank you so much for being part of the show. Big up to all of you. Big up to Mari. Big up to JP.
Happy Thanksgiving, Mari, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the crowd.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Hit the like, guys. Come on, hit the like. Let's get to at least 100.
And on that note, peace. Until the next time.
Come on.
Ciao.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. Tottenham away.